Why the avoidant starts feeling the loss more deeply, the hidden emotional timeline they never talk about. Most people believe the avoidant partner moves on first, but the truth is often very different. While others openly grieve, the avoidant mind usually delays emotional processing until silence becomes impossible to ignore. That is why the deepest sense of loss often arrives much later, catching them completely off guard. If you have ever wondered why an avoidant suddenly reaches out after weeks or months, this explanation may surprise you. Today we will uncover the hidden psychological reasons avoidants begin feeling the loss more deeply after the relationship ends. By the end of this video, you will understand why emotional distance does not always mean emotional freedom. Let's begin. When the relationship first ends, many avoidants appear calm, collected, and surprisingly unaffected by the breakup. Their quiet confidence often convinces others they have already accepted the relationship ending. This early emotional stability is usually not because they feel nothing, but because their attachment system takes control. Instead of allowing painful emotions to surface, their mind focuses on independence, routines, and personal space. That emotional shutdown creates temporary relief, making them believe they escaped vulnerability once again. During this stage, they stay busy with work, hobbies, social activities, or anything that blocks painful feelings. The silence feels manageable because the emotional consequences have not yet reached deeper levels. Unlike anxious partners, avoidants often process emotional pain in delayed emotional waves. Their attachment system has learned that emotional dependence feels dangerous instead of comforting. As a result, emotional numbness feels much safer than facing vulnerability or rejection. However, suppressing emotions never removes pain because it only delays the emotional impact. As time passes, daily routines become familiar, and distractions slowly lose their power. The excitement of freedom gradually fades because independence cannot replace meaningful emotional connection. Without realizing it, memories begin appearing during ordinary moments that once felt insignificant. A favorite restaurant suddenly reminds them of laughter that once felt comforting. Driving past familiar places quietly awakens emotions they believed had disappeared. Even hearing a certain song may unexpectedly bring back memories they never wanted to revisit. At first, they quickly push those memories away because avoidance has always been their coping strategy. But repeated reminders slowly weaken the emotional walls they carefully built. The emotional distance that once felt comforting now begins creating a quiet sense of emptiness. This is often the beginning of delayed grief in avoidant attachment. Instead of dramatic breakdowns, grief appears as loneliness, restlessness, or unexplained dissatisfaction. They may not immediately connect these feelings to the relationship because emotions remain difficult to identify. Instead, they simply notice something important feels missing from everyday life. The relationship once provided emotional stability in ways they never fully appreciated. Only after losing that connection do they begin recognizing its quiet importance. Many avoidants underestimate how deeply safe relationships support emotional balance. When that support disappears, the absence becomes more noticeable with every passing week. Another reason the loss grows stronger is because fantasy slowly replaces reality. Human memory naturally softens painful experiences while preserving meaningful emotional moments. Instead of remembering every disagreement, they begin recalling comforting conversations and shared experiences. The partner they once criticized may suddenly appear far more valuable through emotional distance. Regret quietly develops because the relationship no longer feels limited by daily conflicts. Without constant disagreements, positive memories become stronger inside their emotional world. This shift surprises many avoidants because they once focused mainly on flaws. Distance changes perspective by removing pressure while highlighting what truly mattered. For many avoidants, loneliness is not simply missing someone, but missing emotional familiarity. They may enjoy solitude, yet prolonged isolation slowly creates needs they cannot ignore. Even highly independent people still need meaningful human connection for emotional well-being. As weeks become months, independence may begin feeling more like emotional emptiness. This realization usually arrives quietly, instead of through one dramatic moment. Sometimes they notice it while eating dinner alone after another exhausting day. Sometimes it appears during holidays, when familiar traditions suddenly feel incomplete. Sometimes they wake up realizing nobody truly understands their inner world anymore. These moments slowly build until avoidance becomes harder than emotional honesty. Another important factor involves emotional comparison after entering a new relationship. Some avoidants believe a different partner will remove their discomfort with intimacy. Initially, the excitement of someone new temporarily masks unresolved emotional patterns. Eventually, the same fears appear because attachment wounds travel with the individual. When familiar distancing behaviors return, they may realize the previous relationship was not the real problem. This realization creates powerful regret because opportunities for repair may already be gone. Avoidants sometimes discover emotional safety only after repeated disappointments elsewhere. They begin comparing new experiences with the consistency they once quietly received. The comparison often highlights qualities they previously overlooked during the relationship. That awareness deepens the emotional loss far beyond their expectations. Many avoidants also struggle because they rarely expressed appreciation while together. Important feelings remained unspoken, leaving unfinished emotional conversations behind. Those unspoken emotions often become heavier as time creates greater distance. The mind naturally wonders what might have happened if vulnerability had come sooner. Questions without answers often stay emotionally active much longer than completed conversations. This uncertainty quietly intensifies feelings of regret over time. However, it is important to understand that not every avoidant reaches out again. Some continue protecting themselves while privately grieving the relationship they lost. Fear of rejection may become stronger than the desire for reconnection. Others convince themselves that reaching out would only reopen old wounds. Their silence does not always mean the absence of love or reflection. Sometimes silence simply reflects a battle between attachment needs and fear. Healthy healing begins when avoidants stop treating emotions as dangerous enemies. Real growth requires acknowledging pain instead of constantly escaping uncomfortable feelings. Learning emotional openness allows relationships to become places of safety instead of fear. The avoidant who embraces vulnerability gradually discovers intimacy does not destroy independence. Instead, healthy closeness creates strength and security that isolation can never replace. For anyone loving an avoidant, remember that delayed grief follows its own timeline. Their lack of immediate emotion does not always reveal the complete story. People process emotional pain differently because of attachment patterns and past experiences. Understanding these differences encourages compassion while maintaining healthy boundaries. Whether reconciliation happens or not, emotional awareness remains the foundation for healthier relationships. Sometimes the greatest lesson comes only after realizing the value of what was lost.